Happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Susie Say That. Today's topic is many are called, few are chosen. Although this is a Bible scripture, you can put it to your life. Really, you can. Just let that sit for a moment. Many are called, but few are chosen. What exactly does that mean to you? It means to me that many are called. I wasn't the only one that God called to do a work in the earth. Many are called, but few are chosen. Last week we had a teleconference and it was just dynamite. And we talked about putting your hand to the scripture that talks about when Jesus says it's better not you put your hand to the plow than to look back. And we discussed that and it was really amazing. And it kind of ties in what I'm saying today about many are called, few are chosen. Because the ones that's called, most of the time, they're not the chosen ones. Because the chosen ones stay the route. The chosen ones die in the Lord. The chosen ones don't look back. They don't. No matter how great the suffering, and you will suffer in this world for the Christ that you believe in. You will suffer because the Bible, even there's scriptures that tells you you'll suffer. There is suffering. You'll go through some things that other people won't dare because they're called. I'm just going to put it out here to you. They're called. They're not chosen. It is a difference. So much stuff is going on right now. And I hear so many things about this pastor, that pastor, the evangelist, the deacon. And I'm not caught up in that. I'm not caught up in that because I consider all that mess to be they were called. They were not chosen. Because the chosen ones do the work of the Lord. The chosen ones don't have time for the nonsense. The chosen ones obey. They don't not only obey, they care about their faith with God more than they care about the people. The people is secondary to God. The people are secondary to God. They know God is first. God must be first. Then we deal with the people, but God is first. So you can say whatever you want to say, sing all these songs that don't worship God, but worship. People always ask me my opinion. What do I think about it? And I say, I don't. I'm not going to sit there and say, well, they shouldn't do it or whatever, because I remember times when I was called, but I didn't want to be chosen. So I left it. I said, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of, people dog you when you're a Christian. Oh, people put it on you when you're a follower of the Christ. I mean, that's a lot of stuff because I was immature. And I didn't understand the call on my life. I didn't understand that I was not only called, but I was chosen. And we got to understand there is a difference. Many are called, but few. It says few. It says, who is the few? I can talk about that, but I won't. That could be another talk in itself, so I'm not going to even discuss that. But I do know that if you're called, then you have to make up your mind. God doesn't need to. The great I am doesn't need to make up his mind whether you're called or chosen because he already knows. He knows already who's going to put their hand to the plow and not look back. He already knows. So God is not sitting up there diddling his thumbs and twiddling and thinking about what I'm going to do next. What if Susie leaves me? What if Susie goes back to the world? What if she turns her back on me? That's world stuff. That's our stuff. That's how we deal with stuff. Our feelings and our emotion, that's the world stuff. That's not God's stuff. Okay? God is not worried about whether or not you turn back to him, whether or not you leave him. God is concerned about you making it to where he is. That's it. He's concerned about you, but he's not worried about you. That's world stuff. He's not worried about you. He's concerned because he knows already what we're going to do. He knows already whether we're going to turn away from him, deny him, lie we ever knew him, or whatever. Peter did it. Peter said he never knew Jesus and knew him, but said, I don't know him. And then look what happened to Peter. He still got back with God, although he did those things. So I don't think that no one is out of this unless you want to be out of it. I don't think God just abandons us and leaves us and say, oh, well, I'm done with her. She didn't want to do what I said. No, he gives us many. That's why you're called. You're called over and over and over again. But until you decide that you want to be chosen, until you decide, you got to make up that decision that you want to be chosen because God's already chose you. So you need to now say, do I want to be chosen? Do I really want to put my hand to the plow and never look back to nonsense or whatever goes on in your life? What do I want to do here? I have to do it. We all have to do it. How serious are you about being chosen? Many years ago, this young lady was walking on the highway, and I was on my way to a dentist appointment, and I had to get there, and I was like, oh gosh, I can't give her a ride because I'm going to miss my dentist appointment. And my dentist was a stickler on being late, and I was like, they're not going to give me, I got to get my teeth worked on. I don't know what I'm going to do here. But then God pressed my heart. Hold up, wait a minute. He didn't sit next to me and say, Susie, he pressed in my heart, and he spoke beautifully as he always does. He says, pull over and give that lady and that child a ride. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be late for this dentist appointment. But I obeyed. I pulled over, and she got in the car. I said, where are you going? She said, we're going to the nearest gas station. I said, oh, it's like 2 miles away from here. And she was like, yeah, I know. She was like, but I've been walking so long, my feet hurt. And I said, it definitely was God that sent me to pick you up. I said, because I was on my way, and then he told me to pull over and wait for you to come to the car and all this stuff. I said, so it's definitely God. She said, I thank God. And I said, I do too, that I stopped. I said, but I tell you what, I'll drop you off at this restaurant next to the gas station. I said, I'll drop you off here. I said, because that's where she was going. I said, and when I come back from the dentist, I said, you can wait for me. If no one gives you a ride, you can wait for me. And then I'll promise, I said, I promise you, I'm coming back for you. When I got to the dentist, God is amazing. He's the great I am that I am. He's amazing. Because when I got there, the dentist, they were smiling. I was like, oh, let me tell you about what happened. I gave this lady a ride. She had her baby, and they was like, Susie, no issue. He's running behind, which he never does. See how God orchestrated all that? He'll see you. It was like 30 minutes before he seen me, but then he did see me. And then after I left his office, I went back to where I dropped the lady off. She was gone. So what if that was one of my moments? Many are called, but few are chosen. I was chosen to pick that lady up and that baby, and she couldn't have been no more than 2 years old, and drop them off. They looked tired, and she told me what was going on in her life, etc. And I just listened to her. Many are called, but few are chosen. Don't you want to be part of the chosen? No matter how hard the task is, don't you want to be part of God's chosen instead of just being called? You may come in, you may get tired, you go through a little suffering, a little pain, you say, oh, I'm out of here. That's too much work to be working for God. I've been there. I was like, this is just a lot. I've said that to God, and believe me, he don't have an issue with us talking like that. He's our Father. He's not caught up. Oh, look what she said to me today. That's humans. God is not like that. He's not even equipped like that. He doesn't think like us. He already told us before that his ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. High as the heaven is from the earth is his ways and his thoughts. So he's not even on the same realm we are when it comes to our feelings and our emotions. But he's in love. He's in love with us, his human beings. He's in love. That's why he came. Okay? But are you chosen? Or are you just called? There's a difference. A neighbor of yours, God has been telling you to call the neighbor, go check on the neighbor, and you say, oh, I'll do that another time. And then God will get somebody that he knows that's chosen, and they'll go do it. And then you'll say, oh, I should have did that. A person was telling me today, sharing with me how a young man, like 20-some years old, died. Nobody had checked on him. Nobody had checked on him to see what was going on. They found him in the house dead. He was dead, 20-something years old. Who was called and chosen, but just got the call, but didn't want to choose to go check on him? I'm just saying, I don't know what happened, but I'm just telling you that. They found him dead like a week later or something. I think my neighbor said a week later. So no one called this young man? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'm just asking you today, are you not only called, but are you chosen to do whatever that is that God is asking you to do? Many were called to do videos, talk about God, but I was chosen. See, because I ran from this job for many, many years. I didn't want to do videos. I'm not that chick. I really don't even, I do it for the love of Christ that he's told me to do it. But I'm not the video person. I'm not. And I ripped and I ran from it for years. And I'm telling you, it's been a long time when they first started doing videos. The Lord said, I need you to start doing videos. And I made up every excuse I could. I was called.